I am that I am. Adamus, the Shambra-inspired facet of Saint Germain. Thank you. So let us begin our new series, the Discovery series. Let's take a good deep breath. So often I ask you to take a good deep breath and let me come a little closer to you. Let me come as close to you as I am with Cauldre, Jeffrey, right now. Oh, and I'm inside him. Yes, I'm going to stay here a while. I forgot to tell him. I'm not leaving right away. So take a good deep breath and invite me, Adamus, so close that you can feel me tickling your insides. Yeah, all of them. That you can feel me in your heart. That you can feel me side by side with you. Take a good deep breath. You see, it takes a bold and courageous person to let anyone in that close. Let anyone, including your loved ones, your children, including anybody in that close. Because there's layers and layers of protective, defensive material and psychic energy all around. But when you can let somebody in that close, that they're right inside you, hugging you from within, you've achieved a level of consciousness through trust, through allowing, that's going to serve you well. So, dear Shambra, take a good deep breath. When you can trust yourself that much that you can let me into your thoughts, into your mind, that's trusting yourself, having that much confidence and balance in you. You can let me in. You can let others in. When you let others in, you'll find that they can never truly do you harm. Never, ever take anything away from you. They can create a lot of illusions. They can play the game pretending that they can take something from you, and you can play the game pretending that you're a victim, pretending that you're vulnerable. But take a good deep breath. If you can let me in that close, that deeply, that intimately, you've reached a level of consciousness, true consciousness about yourself. Oh, and speaking of yourself, why not take a good deep breath and let yourself in that close? Oh, a little bit tougher. A little bit tougher to let yourself in that close. We're going to be talking about that and many other things in our Discovery series, but discovering who you are. Yes. Sounds easy. It's not. It's not. It's one of the most feared things. We talked about fear, Jane, you and I, on many occasions. What do you fear the most? Yourself, of course. All of you. Every angelic being. What's the greatest level of resistance or fear, or whatever you choose to call, but it's the toughest thing. We're going to be doing it in our Discovery series. We enter our 5th year together. We've completed 4. Surprised that so many of you are still here. No, truly, indeed, I am surprised because, you see, there's a certain fascination with religion and philosophy to try to put some meaning to life. And as you probably discovered, there is no real meaning. There is a level of fascination with things that are spiritual, the occult, partly because you've studied it before in the past, partly because the occult, spirituality, has an allure about it. It has a power, a seduction. Some say that they're studying it to help give a better understanding of the way things work, but no, they're full of macchio. Because you'll never understand the way things work. It's designed not to. Designed not to. So there's many who study it as a distraction from their day-to-day life. They can go play angel games. Sorry, but they're just games. They can impress friends and relatives with their occultishness, their oddity. And they use sometimes spirituality and New Age as a veil for their otherwise odd nature, and they just call it New Age. Very true, very true. But as you know, from the early times with Tobias, from the time that I started coming to you in 1999, we're not here to be spiritual or New Age. Doesn't work. We're here, you're here, for your embodied enlightenment. There's really nothing to study, nothing at all. There's much to discover, and there's much to realize. You've been coming here month after month, after month, after month. You have actually been manifesting, creating this aspect called Adamus. Actually, I, as Saint Germain, have a little difficulty having to shift in that role, somewhat, some would say a bit obnoxious, a bit pretentious, a bit provocative. But that's what you're creating, the push, the edge, the difference. Because, well, you've had a lot of studies in spiritual, a lot of past lives in the religious orders. You realized it was interesting, but it didn't bring the real fulfillment that you were choosing. So you came here in this lifetime to this group called Shambra, to this gathering, and said, we're going to do it. Embodied enlightenment. I don't care what it takes. You're going to came here under under a little bit of an illusion that you're going to be here to help save the world and all the rest of those things, but you're finding that it doesn't need saving. And even if it did, they're not necessarily going to accept it from you. They're going to resist it from anyone. So you come here for embodied enlightenment. And you're going to realize it. You are going to realize it. I have no doubt about it. I would not be here if I thought it was a maybe. It is going to be, as long as you're choosing it, as long as you're allowing it. And it's not going to be anything like you thought it was going to be at all. So I give you credit and applause for sticking it out. Tough times at times, really tough, because it rips down all the illusions, it rips down the identities, it rips down the myths, mistruths, and rips down what you thought was you so that you could discover the real you. Very, very few humans have ever gone that route. Very, very few. A lot of humans talk about religion and God and righteousness and all the rest, but very few stop to take this kind of inner look and inner journey. It's difficult, but you wouldn't have it any other way. So welcome to the Discovery Series. In our series, which will last for 11 segments, in our series each month, we're going to have a discussion, interactive discussion, as I know you love so much. You just can't wait till Linda hands you the microphone. Am I right? Yeah. We'll have interactive discussions because there is a lot of wisdom that you have to share. Yeah, that you have to share. And sometimes it's intimidating with that microphone thrust in front of you and me. looking and tens of thousands watching. But when you hear your own voice, not just the words that are coming out, but the tone, the depth, the spirit in your voice, when you hear that, that's when you start to have that breakthrough of consciousness. That's when you start to realize, I am that I am. That's when you start to simplify the words. That's when you stop telling the long stories. And that's where everyone else can feel the presence coming from your voice. So we'll have our discussions. They'll get lively, they'll get crazy. It might get you a little upset at times, but the discussion, the interaction is good, so you can hear you. Of course, I'll always have my lecture portion, fascinating lecture portion of each child. But then as we are in this Discovery series, each month we will have an experience. Sometimes it will be a marab, sometimes a different type of experience. We're getting to the point where we don't need to just keep talking about things. It's time to experience them. So be prepared each month for an experience. Some of the experiences, you won't experience anything right away. Well, you will, but you won't be aware of it right away. Sometimes it takes hours, days, weeks for the realization of what really happened. In the experiences, we're not going to try to do anything. We're not going to effort into it. We're going to allow it and then let it unfold. No mental stress, no efforting, just allowing. We're going to go through a series of very specific experiences every shout. One working on or expanding upon the previous ones. And I've told Caldra that I will try to keep my segment short as well. A little bit shorter. But literally I watch and monitor the energies, feel what's happening, because as I've told you many times before, I'm nothing but a distraction, a humorous, charming distraction, but a distraction. So that while you're watching, you're listening, you're experiencing, something else is really happening over here. You're sitting in a safe space, feeling into your I am presence, and allowing a shift or a movement to take place gently, quietly, and without thinking about it. Nothing will mess up a good energy movement, a good expansion of consciousness, more than thinking your way into it. So I'll distract, you allow. Is that a deal? Yeah. Good.